You're listening to Rabbi Aryeh Wolbe of Torch in Houston, Texas. This is the Prayer Podcast.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the Prayer Podcast. Today we're going to look at the first few verses of part 2 of Hodu. As we said, the first part of Hodu was said with the morning offerings, the Tamid Shel Shachar, and the second part, which is what we're going to read today, is part of what was said, according to some opinions, during, some after the afternoon offerings were brought, the Tamid Shel Bein Arbaim. And let's read it inside. We'll read it in Hebrew, we'll read it in the English, and then we'll try to derive some understanding from each of these verses. Now again, these verses are primarily from Psalms, and they go as follows. Shiru la Hashem kol ha'oretz, basru miyom el yom yeshu'ato. Sing to Hashem, everyone on earth, announce his salvation daily. We're going to explain this in a moment, but what we're seeing here is we're declaring to the nations of the world that Hashem is the authentic source of everything. Hashem is the authentic source of everything. As we'll see in a minute, we're going to be praising the heavens and the earth that were created by Hashem, while the nations of the world idolize the heavens and the earth themselves. No. Go to the source. The source of creation of heaven and earth is from Hashem. Sapru bagoyim es kevoidai. B'chol ha'amim nifla'asav. Relate his glory among the nations, among all the nations his wonders. Ki gadol Adonai muhulal me'od v'noirahu al kol Elohim. That Hashem is great and exceedingly lauded, and awesome is he above all heavenly powers. Ki kol Elohei ha'amim elilim v'Adonai shamayim asa. For all the gods of the people are nothing, but Hashem made heaven. For all the gods of the peoples are nothing, but Hashem made heaven. Hod v'hadar lefanav oz v'chadva mimkomo. Glory and majesty are before him. Might and delight are in his place. So these are the first 5 verses of section 2. We mentioned that there are 3 parts of Hodu. Let's look a little bit at the first verse. Shiru la Hashem kol ha'oretz. Sing to Hashem. Sing to Hashem. We mentioned previously that when you start talking about the praises of Hashem, it will lead you to singing the praise of Hashem. It will lead you to a point where you'll be so excited by all of the goodness that Hashem bestows upon us that it'll turn into song. Everyone on earth, they would sing, everyone would announce that Hashem is the one who brings salvation, always saving us from our enemies. Interestingly, Rav Hirsch says that basru miyom el yom yeshu'ato, announce his salvation every day. He says, daily salvation from Hashem. Every challenge that we have, Hashem is there to help us. But then he says something very important. What's basru miyom? Declare it daily. Rav Hirsch says that if you don't declare it daily, you'll forget. Every day, we say, yeah, I thanked Hashem yesterday. What do I need to thank him again today? You have to constantly remind yourself. We talked about this. Why do we have the command to recite 100 blessings every day? We learned this from a verse in Deuteronomy. Umo Hashem shoel mimach. What does Hashem ask of you? Our sages say in the Talmud, don't read it Umah, what, but rather Me'ah, 100 blessings, referring to the 100 blessings that we should recite every day. What is that? You see, if we don't recite blessings and acknowledge and recognize that Hashem has bestowed the goodness upon us, we're going to forget. We mentioned that in a relationship, a woman remembers everything. She remembers everything. except for how much you love her. She needs to be constantly reminded, I love you, I love you, I love you. I told you yesterday I love you. I need to tell you again today? Yeah, she forgets. In the same way, and this is, I think, very, very important, in the same way that if a person doesn't remember and recognize God, basru, miyom, yeshu'ato, you forget that Hashem brings salvation, that Hashem gives you everything you have, you're going to forget it if you don't declare it. The same thing, you wonder, you can stand with your friends. Mark, you hear this? Mark, you can stand with your friends and everyone is kvetching about their wives and everyone is saying, oh, my wife. It's one reason. It's because they don't say, I love you enough. It's because they don't recognize and talk about the greatness of their spouse enough. They forget what a blessing they have. How can you forget? Very easy to forget. It's very easy to forget. And that's why we need not only to remind our beloved wives, respectively, of how much they are loved, how much we love them. It's to remind ourselves how gifted we are that we have this relationship. How gifted we are that we are blessed with this. Basru, miyom, yeshu'ato. Don't let your recognition of Hashem's salvation skip even a day. Sapru bagoyim es kevoidei. Relate His glory among the nations. Go out and declare it to the nations. The nations, we need to announce it to them. Now we use two terms here. Sapru bagoyim es kevoidei. Among the nations, relate Hashem's glory. Bechol ha'amim. Among all the nations, His wonders. What's the difference? They're both terminology for nation. Well, one is goyim. By the way, the Jewish people are called a goy kadosh, a holy nation. It's not a derogatory statement. Someone should let Candace know this, right? The goy is not a negative statement towards the nations. It literally means nation. The Jewish people are also called a goy kadosh, a holy nation. Same terminology. But one is called a goy and one is called an am. We say am Yisrael chai. What's the difference between a goy and an am? A goy, our sages teach us, comes from the word gav, which means outside. Not gav with a bet, gav with a vav. Means outside. While am comes from the word im, with. One is in, one is out. One is feeling a connection, a feeling of closeness. And one is you're on your own. The Jewish people are an am. That's why achdus, being one with another. One nation, one soul. When we stood at the foot of Mount Sinai, we were ki'ish echad belev echad, one nation, one soul. We were an am. We were together with one. We became a nation because we were there unified at Mount Sinai. We don't have to fight for ourselves. We fight together in unity. Even in this war that we're seeing now with Iran, even the craziest leftist opposition declared, he said to Iran, he said, if you think that just because we have disagreements here, we're not united against you, we are, 100%. And the opposition will sit together with the parliament, together with the 60 members of Knesset who are in the coalition, because we're going to eradicate evil from this world. We need to always remember that although we have different perspectives, we still have to remember that we're brothers. It's okay for us to have 12 channels in the splitting of the sea, that each of the tribes walked in their own channel, but we're still walking through the water together. We're in it together. And we're there for one another. No matter which flag we walk under. no matter which affiliation we consider ourselves part of. We are a group, not a bunch of individuals. Ki gadol Hashem u'mehulol me'od. Hashem is great and exceedingly lauded. U'mehulol me'od v'norahu al kol elohim. And awesome is He above all heavenly powers. Our sages tell us that we need to tell the world that Hashem is great. We almost think that these are like the evangelicals. They're standing at the street corners with those microphones on Sunday morning. You see them saying, "Praise be the Lord," right? That's our job. They're doing our job. We need to be doing that. We need to be out there and declaring in the most dignified way, in a way that the nations can learn and come close. Hashem is feared more than all gods. There are many, many false gods. There are many gods that have many, 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 many millions and billions of followers. We're talking Ki Gadol Hashem u'mehulol me'od v'norahu al kol Elohim. Hashem is greater than any other god. We mentioned yesterday, Hashem Echad, Hashem is one. Hashem is one. The oneness of Hashem. There's no parts to Hashem. You know, we have this great phrase that the Hasidic movement uses a lot, which we have to be extremely cautious with. It's true. It's a correct phrase. The phrase is that everyone has a chelek Eloka mimal. Everyone has a piece of God within them. Well, God isn't divisible into pieces. So what does that mean? In a metaphoric way, in a concept way, we have a part of godliness within us. But you don't chop up God into pieces and here, you got a piece in you. The idea is that you can act in a godly way. You can be godly. You don't have to be physical, materialistic, and lowly. You can be elevated. You can be godlike. Other gods have been proved to be non-entities. Ki gadol Hashem mikol elohim. Hashem is greater than all other gods. So we see gadol and we see Nora. Hashem is great and Hashem is awesome. Ki kol Elohei ha'amim elilim. For all the gods of the peoples, they're nothing. They're nothing. Elilim, they're nothing. What is elilim? Low kale. There's no God. There's nothing really there. Hashem shamayim asa. But Hashem, what did Hashem do? Hashem is the creator of heaven and earth. It's like when we see in the first of the 10 Commandments, we say, Hashem says, Hashem declares, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am Hashem your God. Okay, period, that's it. No! It's qualified. How? Asher etzotzicha me'eretz Mitzrayim, who took you out of Egypt. It's not a leap of faith. It's not just, believe it because I said so, or else you'll have eternal damnation if you question it. If you don't take that leap of faith, it's all over. You're considered an infidel and will kill you with jihad. No, not in Judaism. It's qualified. You know why I'm Hashem your God? I'm going to give you the actual proof because I took you out of Egypt. I am God not because I said so. I'm God because I created heaven and earth. And if you look in my creation, you see me. Ki kol Elokei ha'amim elilim. Elilim means low kale. There is no God. There's nothing there. Hashem shamayim asa, but our God, creator of heaven and earth, He's the creator of everything that exists. So I want to focus on these 4 first verses here so that we can just internalize it. And we can see to it that we don't just live a life that, I know there's a God. No. It has to be declared. Basru, miyom, yeshu'ato. Daily, hourly. If we took the 18 hours a day that we are awake and we divided it by the 100 blessings that we're required to say, it would be the equivalent of every 7.5 minutes giving a praise to Hashem. 100 times a day. Because that's how long it takes to forget. It takes that long, or that short, to forget all the gifts that Hashem has given us. And the minute we forget, the minute we stop recognizing, the minute we stop acknowledging the gifts that we have from Hashem, we start forgetting. And then we ask, what did God do for me today? What do you mean, what did God do for you today? You forgot that all of life is from Hashem. We start our day with Modeh Ani, thanking Hashem for giving us our soul. That's the first words we recite when we wake up. We declare, we recognize that life itself is a gift from God. It's God believing in us. Rabba emunatecha. Hashem believes in us. Hashem has faith in us. Hashem knows what we are capable of. And that's why He gives us another day. These declarations need to be recited every day. Shiru Hashem kol ha'aretz, wherever you are, in every situation, with every challenge you face, sing to Hashem. Sing His praise. Because that is our getting closer to Hashem, bringing ourselves closer to Hashem, and bringing the nations of the world closer to Hashem. So my dear friends, we're going to stop here, and God willing, next week we'll continue, and hopefully maybe we'll be able to finish to the end of this section. Maybe we'll need a little bit more time, but I don't want it to gloss over everything and then not have a chance to really internalize this, to declare the greatness of Hashem. First internally, and then sing it out to the world so that the world can hear it, that the world can experience it, the world can see it. My dear friends, have an amazing week.
You've been listening to Rabbi Aryeh Wolbe on a podcast produced by Torch, the Torah Outreach Resource Center of Houston. Please help sponsor an episode so we can continue to produce more quality Jewish content for our listeners around the globe. Please visit torchweb.org to donate and partner with us on this incredible endeavor.